Alright, Nintendo Switch gamers, you guys want games that you can just play forever? Action RPGs that you can just take with you everywhere? With gameplay and combat system that is so fluid and in-depth that makes your button mashing seems like you actually know what you're doing. What's that? You also want plenty of character customization and the ability to build your character however you want, but will still affect your own experience in-game? Well, you're in luck, because these three games are exactly that. First off, let's start with NieR Automata, the End of Yorha Edition. This is one of the ports for the Nintendo Switch that still absolutely baffles me and have me feeling rather hopeful for more ports of this quality. NieR Automata plays like a dream on the Nintendo Switch. There are very rarely any performance issues, and recent patches had improved the game performance and resolution so much. This may not seem like much, but since this is the Nintendo Switch we're talking about, it is nothing less than an accomplishment on Virtual Studio part for delivering on this masterpiece of a game. In NieR Automata, you are a highly advanced android sent to Earth on a massive joint operation in order to liberate the planet from an alien invasion. The humans have long since abandoned the Earth and have settled down on the moon base, waiting for the day they will be able to return to their beloved planet. As an android, you are free to customize yourself however you like. You can install chips and programs into yourself in order to gain an edge in battle. However, the number of chips you can install is limited by the amount of free space you have. The combat in NieR Automata is very fast-paced, and when I say fast-paced, I really mean it. You can barely tell what is going on half the time, as you will be constantly dodging and weaving between the enemy's attack, while trying to find an opportunity to launch one yourself. Your playable characters are also accompanied by pods, sentient robots capable of providing support, and is kinda your best friend for when you are surrounded by those harmful red bubbles. They can fire off rapid-fire projectiles or shoot homing missiles in order to stun and daze your enemies while you move in for the kill. The character movements are insanely detailed and fluid, while also feeling rather weightless, as if they are hardly affected by gravity at all. They are fast and precise, but at the same time feels organic and natural enough to see on these androids, as their choreography are just that amazingly detailed and fluid. You can check out Sunhi Legend videos to be amazed at just how detailed the choreography are and how awesome it looks as a spectacle. You can equip two different weapons for each of your two different attack buttons. Each combination has a unique and interesting combo to them that you can just chain back to back with another set of weapon or special programs in order to keep the combo going. As for the RPG aspect, well, you can earn XP and gold by completing side quests and eliminating enemies. The game tends to scale the difficulty of the enemies you encounter by your level and how far you have progressed into the game. You can also purchase equipment, items, and chips from the different vendors on your base of operations. Besides the top-tier gameplay, the story of NieR Automata is designed to make you feel and think for these characters and their struggles to cope with their own existence. The world of NieR Automata at its core is sad and dead. There is no warmth left to be found in the world inhabited by cold, heartless machines, and androids constantly waging wars in place of their gods and masters. There are 5 main endings to this game that you can get by playing through the game 3 different times. Each playthrough are designed to offer different gameplay and perspective to the story, but mostly follow the same narrative. It's only on the 3rd playthrough that the whole truth comes out, and boy oh boy, I can guarantee that you're not ready for what happens in this playthrough. NieR Automata, the End of Yorha Edition will cost you about $40 on the Nintendo eShop, but you can probably get it for cheaper than that by waiting for the monthly Square Enix sales, where you can get it for 25% off, which will run it up to $30. Next up, we have Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen. Dragon's Dogma is a very interesting game. It came out a few months just after the release of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which is just unfortunate by the way, as the hype for Skyrim more or less overshadowed Dragon's Dogma even months after its release. As a result, the game struggled to sell on the Western market, even though it did exceptionally well in the Japanese market, even during Capcom's darkest days. But despite all that, the game was able to obtain a pretty massive following throughout the years, as more and more players pick up on the game just through word of mouth alone. Dragon's Dogma received tons of praise for its gameplay, all of which is well deserved for some of the most innovative gameplay ever conceived, the likes of which that hasn't been seen ever since its release, but we'll touch upon that later. You are the Arisen, a human blessed with strength and powers beyond the scope of what is normally possible for humans that also cannot age, effectively becoming an immortal unless struck with a fatal wound. But you aren't always the Arisen. One day, a dragon attacked your village by the sea in search of something, or rather someone. You chose to bravely fight the dragon, although you never did stood even a tiny sliver of chance. The dragon, having found what it was looking for, that being yourself, ripped out your heart from your chest and swallowed it, but in turn, granting you the status of the Arisen, bestowing upon you the quest to come seek it and claim your heart. And so, that is how your journey starts. As the Arisen, you are allowed a certain privilege to create and customize your own pawn. An AI-controlled companion they will learn from what you do when they see you do it, as you are free to mold them however you like. Along your journey, you will encounter many different pawns that you can recruit, and if you have the Nintendo Switch Online membership, you can go online and recruit pawns from the other Arisen, like dear Jon Snow here, who has been among the most reliable pawns I've ever had. The process of creating a pawn is exactly the same as your initial character customization. But speaking of the character customization, there is something that you should be aware about, because as it turns out, the way you build your character will also affect your gameplay. Smaller characters will be able to fit through small crawl spaces and regenerate stamina faster than the heavier characters, while heavier characters will be able to carry more items without being encumbered, but in turn have slower movement speed and stamina regeneration. Initially, you and your pawn can only choose from 3 sets of jobs, or rather vocations in this game, which is Fighter, Strider and Mage, each one having their own set of skills and playstyles that you can tailor to your preference. But when you reach the capital of Gransis very early on in the game, you will gain access to the more advanced class like the Warrior, Mystic Knight, Magic Archer, and Sorcerer, unlocking a lot of different but fun gameplay that will get even better when you learn that certain skills can be carried over to the other vocation. Not only that, one more thing to note is that all of the vocations are just as good as the others. The only thing you should consider is whether did you have fun with that select vocation or not. Now what is it exactly that makes this game endlessly replayable? Well, talking about this aspect of the game will certainly give away the ending, so let me give you the abridged version instead. In the world of Dragon's Dogma, you're not given a lot of decisions to make, but oftentimes when you're presented with one, just be aware that you may be potentially locking yourself out of certain rewards or different outcomes to a quest. So that's why New Game Plus is a thing here, so you get to explore different outcomes, witness scenes that you may have missed, quests you definitely have missed, and storylines you were never even aware was a thing. Not only that, you get the Bitter Black Isle, a Dark Souls-esque dungeon crawling expansion, where you must navigate your way through the entire map, fighting your way through hordes of not only endgame monsters, but also overpowered enemies that can only be found here on Bitter Black Isle, and also literally Death himself, who will kill you with only one hit and can randomly spawn anytime, anywhere, just to spite you. It is a brutal and mostly unfair expansion, but to quote a YouTube comment from somewhere on the internet, you will most likely die here a lot, either through your own weaknesses or some complete bullshit. But that's okay, because if you want to at the very least survive here, get ready to unleash a couple of your own cheat strikes to even the odds. Jokes aside, the Bitter Black Isle expansion is among the most fun I've ever had on this game. It's tough and unfair at times, but the rewards you get from just navigating and defeating the enemies alone far outweighs the unfairness, as the enemies will oftentimes drop tons of XP, rare items and equipments that you just cannot get anywhere else. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen will cost you about $30 to get on the Nintendo eShop, but you can get it for 66% off during Capcom's game monthly sales. Be sure to get it, because you won't regret it. Lastly, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. I very much doubt there is anyone watching this video that still doesn't know what Monster Hunter games are, but let me explain it briefly for you in case you still don't know. In Monster Hunter, you're a hunter that hunts monsters, simple enough. But these monsters aren't actually monsters at all. They're just called monsters because of reasons In fact, they are just natural living breathing creatures who live in their own ecosystem and have their place among the food chain in this world. There is not much lore or story to go on about, but you mostly start off each game as a rookie hunter, eager to prove yourself, facing harder and tougher monsters each time you move up the ranks, before eventually a genuine threat to your village, city, and even the world shows up, and then you get to hunt it down as the quote-unquote final boss of the game. And that's pretty much it. The gameplay loop in Monster Hunter is fairly simple. You hunt a monster, slay the monster, carve off its body part, take it to the blacksmith, make a new armor and weapons, rinse and repeat. But the process isn't always that simple. Monster Hunter is a game about perseverance, because that's what you'll be doing most of the game, with each hunt being able to go past 10 to 20 minutes, while your max time limit is about 15 minutes each hunt. As of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, there are about 14 weapon types that you can equip and master. And when I say master, I don't mean like master it through leveling up, picking up the right skill tree or perk system. Oh no. You are going to ingrain all those attacks, those movement lags, mechanics, the quirks of each weapon type, optimal distancing, optimal positioning into your brain, until it all becomes nothing but muscle memory and second nature, and then you'll be finally able to predict what the monster's AI is thinking before it can even process its next move. And what's more is that there are a lot of variety of monsters in this game, each one with their different moves, elements, and gameplay mechanics that you are really going to have to account for. So mastering your weapon is really just the first step. Now you're going to have to master each individual monsters if you are going to even think about making an armor and weapon you have been eyeing a lot. I have spent over 400 hours into this game, and I can easily spend another 100 more because this game is just that addicting. So, if you have been eyeing this game for a while now but haven't made a decision yet, just do it. The game is very much worth it, regardless of the price tag. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak will cost you about $60 now, but you can definitely get it for cheaper if you were to wait for it to be on sale for 33% off. Anyway, I guess that's it. For you action RPG fans out there, be sure to get these games while it's still on sale at the moment, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye!